Hey guys, I filmed these videos for Instagram, so I apologize for the portrait mode, but I had them in my camera roll, so I figured why not post them here so that you guys can kind of get a glimpse into my process of creating a 36-inch mandala. So 36 inches is currently the largest size that I offer. If somebody wanted something larger, I would definitely look into it and check out the cost of wood and shipping. But for right now, I already know the cost of a 36-inch for wood and the shipping and all that. So I just kind of offer that as my largest one. I feel like anything above 36-inch really gets pricey in shipping because they start to tack on all of these oversized package costs. So yeah, if somebody really wanted something bigger, I would consider it. But also, it's pretty hard to paint something that large. Uh, as you can tell, once we get a little bit further into the video, to get to the center, you have to like reach over to the center to paint. And so it really is a struggle with posture and can really hurt the arm. It hurts my shoulders and my back. So, yeah, I don't do a ton of these. I think this is maybe my fifth or sixth 36-inch that I've done. They really are so beautiful, but yeah, they are kind of a pain to make, but so worth it in the end. So this clip here is just me putting on the base coat. So a lot of my video tutorials that I share on here are of smaller items, and a lot of people ask me if I can do larger ones, but it's just so time consuming with the filming and the editing and all that. And I think what I really want people to understand is that this process is almost identical to how I do all of my other tutorials and paintings. So there's not really much that's different here. I will point out a couple things, but so I start off with my 36-inch wood from Brenna Bath on Etsy, and that's currently where I purchase all of my wood rounds. If you go to her Etsy shop, you may not see the larger ones, but if you message her, she can cut any size wood that you need, which is super awesome. And she has such great customer service and has been so helpful to me. So, yes, that is where the wood is from. And it's a really good quality birch plywood. So, yeah, it's just a thick piece of wood. I get the 1/2 inch thick. I feel like it's not too thick and not too thin. It's really durable and a great quality. And the wood is really smooth. So, for me personally, I do not use a primer. I just go straight on with my folk art multi-surface paint in pure black, which is my favorite that I use in almost all of my tutorials. It's a really durable base paint that's made for multi-surfaces, so it's just a really good quality, which is perfect for the base. So I just use a brush to paint this on. I used to have a bigger brush. I lost it. Some people recommended getting a roller, but honestly, I'm the type of person that has the mindset of if it's not broke, don't fix it. And the brush has worked perfect for me. So I just use this brush. I might get a bigger one eventually, or maybe someone can convince me to try a roller. So yeah, I just paint this on. I do one coat and then we will move on to the guide marks. Again, for the guide marks, this process is exactly the same as the process that I've shown on almost all of my paintings. So first I find the center, and I do have a full video on how I find the center. This method is not for everyone. It's kind of eyeballing it, but it has worked great for me. I've used this method literally since I've painted, so forever. And basically, what I do is I take a long, it's a fabric measuring tape, or you can just use like a yardstick or whatever is big enough. It has to be able to fit fully across this board that you're working on. And I just find the center. So half, I put it across and I find half of whatever the diameter is, and then I make a mark. And then I take my compass and I put it on that mark, and then I just pull it to the end and then kind of like check my work all the way around to make sure it's even. Check out the video that I have, the full video on that, so you can kind of see it a little bit better. But other people have recommended different methods and nothing has ever worked for me. So again, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It works for me. So yeah, there's a lot of YouTube videos on methods to find the center of a large circle. Okay, so then I just grabbed my 16-point mandala stencil. This is a 12-inch. This is actually a mandala stencil that I had custom made overseas by a manufacturer because it's really hard to find large 12-inch stencils. I did sell these on my Etsy, but they sold out in just a couple days. So I am working on having some more of those made for you guys. But yeah, I just mark it with the General's chalk pencil. You can use chalk pencil or a watercolor pencil. So I'm just making those 16 vertical lines. And then I'm going to grab my extra large ruler that I just got from Hobby Lobby. They actually had a size larger than this that would have fit all the way across, but it was just too big. So this is the one I ended up buying. So now what I'm doing is I'm just using this ruler to extend those 16 vertical lines all the way out to the edge. So I just draw it and then I go all the way around extending each line. And for the next part, I am going to draw the circle guide marks, and I'm using my extra large, it's a woodworking compass. Oh my gosh, this thing was a game changer when I started painting large mandalas. If you're doing large mandalas, you definitely need a big, large, sturdy compass, and this one has been amazing. I think the brand is Mr. Pen. This is in my Amazon shop. I will leave a link in the description below for my Amazon shop. You can also find it by going to my website, www.thoughtfuldots.com, and click on the Tools I Use tab. That will take you directly to my Amazon shop where you can buy the compass. So yeah, I just am making my regular circles. These are usually a half centimeter to a centimeter apart, and we're just going all the way around. Again, same exact process that I do on any of my smaller items or the 12-inch, but yeah, I stop after every, I don't know, I'd say 15 or so circles to sharpen my pencil because it gets a little bit dull and it starts to make these big, thick lines, which I don't really like. So once it starts to dull out, I'll just take out the pencil, sharpen it, and then keep going. If you have used one of these extra large woodworking compasses before, then you know that the end that goes in the center is super sharp. So when you're making this many circles, it's pretty much inevitable that you're gonna make a hole in the center just because it's so sharp and you're going around so many times to make those circles. So it's okay, especially if you're doing like a mandala pattern. I mean, that's where the center dot goes, so it ends up covering it. Another little thing that I do when making these circles is I try to alternate directions each time. That also keeps the pencil from getting super dull on one side, so I get more circles out of it before I have to stop and resharpen it again. But I probably resharpen it about 3 or 4 times during this process. And then there is the painting process, which honestly is not much different than any other size, in my opinion. The only real big difference is when you first do the center, you are kind of having to reach over quite a bit, or you kind of have to like hover over your board more, especially if you have kind of bad eyesight. I don't have terrible eyesight, but I do kind of have a hard time seeing the center area when it's that far away. So Posture-wise, it is kind of awkward, but once you start getting out towards the outer parts, it's really not much different than painting any other size. Okay, so right now this does not have any hanging hardware on the back, so I'm going to be adding 2 sawtooth hooks. They look like this, and they come with little screws to screw in the back. So I'm going to be doing 2 of those. I normally just do 1, but for this size I'm definitely going to do 2. Each one holds up to, I think, 10 or 15 pounds. So 2 of them on here is great. So basically when I do this, I want my pattern, I want one of the peaks, which is, I'm gonna do this one here. See this white? I want this. This is all one guide mark, one vertical guide mark. Everything's all lined up here. So when I place my hooks, I want to make sure that that line is in the center, and that's how I will make sure that this is centered. So what I do is I just kind of look at the pattern. They're all in the same guideline. I make a little mark at the top, and then also same spot on the back with a white chalk pencil. So now I just have, I don't know if you can see that, a little white mark. And then the next part I'm gonna do on the floor. So this part is kind of awkward to show, but I have my white line right here. And so I'm gonna do 1 hook to the left of that white line. And then I'm gonna do 1 on the right. And the cool part about painting on a circle is that it's okay if the hooks are like a little bit off. Since it's a circle and not like a straight line, it doesn't look uneven on the wall. So there's a little bit more forgiveness on these. So then I just put the screw and I push down hard to make a little hole. And then I take my screwdriver and I have these hooks in my Amazon shop, so I will leave that link below for you guys if you want to get some of these. I need 2 more screws. So these are the screws I use. You just want to make sure that the screws are shorter than whatever the thickness of your board is. So I just try to get these even. Okay, so now we have our 2 hooks, and then I just want to erase that white line. And there are our hooks, and that's how they hang on the wall. And here is the finished masterpiece. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We will see you next time.